Adam.
Probably not.
First hard decision of the day.
I will go back and do this. I grew up on this game.
Gritting teeth and sweating. How? What did you play it on?
Mac.
Ah.
Yeah,
I'm playing Day of the Tentacle. That's right. You had that crazy uncle who was obsessed with Mac, right?
Grandpa. But no, yeah, it was, for some reason we grew up with the Mac, and we had a LucasArts collection. This is one of the games where the fuck is this? And I played the shit out of it because this is all we had.
Well, you can get the best ending right off the bat then, huh?
I knew nothing about Maniac Mansion.
Oh, wait. I was thinking of Maniac Mansion just then.
Look at those cum pumpers.
No, only played Day of the Tentacle.
Oh,
this is how I fell in love with Tim Schafer. Tim, as I call him.
Cum pumpers?
Yeah. Wait. All right, today's... Oh, wait. Welcome to a thick-rimmed bowl of dude soup.
It kind of looks like that.
Yeah, basically. I don't know. I'm gonna go pretty hourglass with this in just a second. But first, this episode is brought to you by two sponsors, Casper and Mac Weldon, both of which can make your life easier in various ways. Because the theme of today's podcast is difficulty.
Oh.
Difficulty.
He is really turning into hourglass. Nice
kind
show.
of. Yeah, I need more tropes to make people watch this damn thing. So, just make it more like the #1 podcast, This American Life.
A lot of cereals.
Let's talk about a fucking cloth dealer in Indiana or something.
Oh yeah. No, we're talking about video games. We're talking about video games and popular culture.
This spider has worked at this convenience store for 35 years.
Cut to some music of like somebody just paintively hitting a
I would listen to that.
a xylophone.
So tell me about yourself. Am I hourglass? I look like the guy from Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
He does, Cameron?
Yeah, I thought it was Cameron.
It's not Cameron.
Like, that's what he's doing. No. That was just Spin City. Sorry, Adam.
That was... Wow. Yeah. Adam, you're dropping all kinds of knowledge today.
Boom.
All useless.
Yep. No one remembers Spin City.
Yeah, it turned into Scrubs.
All right.
So,
Lawrence.
people are mad about difficulty. Or rather...
Wait.
Yep.
They're mad about it being too difficult or not difficult enough?
Not difficult enough, or rather giving people the option of not being difficult enough. So, God, I do love following what people get mad about on the internet. It's a pastime of mine.
You say people, but by that you mean 15...
Yeah. Like 30 people. Loud individuals.
15 guys who have been on their summer break for the last 18 years.
God, I wish.
They made a fucking business out of it, though. That's the weird
kind of,
thing.
yeah. It's thanks to YouTube, you can just get mad into a webcam. People listen to you.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. So the latest one is Nintendo announced that they're going to have a mode in Star Fox Zero where you essentially cannot die. You're basically invincible. You get to play through the game without worrying about being good at it or earning the right to see the ending or anything like that.
Sounds like fun.
Fuck you, Bruce.
And that's the only mode in the game? They're locking out everything else?
That's absolutely right. They're forcing everyone to play in this mode. There's...
Wait, no, they're not.
Yes, they are, Bruce.
Are you being sarcastic?
Yes, they're not doing that at all.
Oh.
But there is a crew. I would say the reactions that I read range from kind of an adorable bemusement about why anyone would do that to a game, basically take away the whole reason you play it.
Yeah.
Ranging on down to people that are fundamentally mad that the existence of this kind of destroys the reason that anyone would play this game. And so I'm not quite sure where to start with this because on some level I can kind of understand a little bit. You want to feel like you're in a club if you beat a game. You want to feel like you earned it and that anyone else who's earned it has earned it, essentially. Like if you talk to somebody about the ending of Star Fox, then you automatically know that they're good enough to have seen it. And then you also want to know that if you see it, you're part of like a select group of people that...
I feel like YouTube invalidates all of this.
Yes.
Because as soon as Star Fox Zero gets beaten, somebody's going to post it on YouTube and that's it.
Shit, that's a really good point.
100%.
I was gonna say, you could just call it like Let's Play mode.
Well, because
Yeah.
you know how we were watching, I'm trying to think of parallels for this, and we were watching Punch-Out stuff, and we were like, man, Punch-Out was awesome. Which, by the way, Punch-Out is and was awesome. But I played through that whole game. This is pre-YouTube. Played through that whole game, beat through the whole thing, basically. And then years later, looked it up on YouTube and saw all these different shortcuts that, like, if I had known... It doesn't matter how difficult the game is. If I had known that when this dude's gonna come out of the corner and throw this punch, you can hit him in the side once and that'll end the match in one punch, it doesn't matter how good I am at the timing or whatever, I can do that right away. And it's because I watched someone do it on YouTube. It's kind of the same as like a Dark Souls or a Bloodborne, though those games still probably require a little bit more. You can watch someone beat a boss, but in terms of execution, there's still a little bit more there. That's like, you may not be able to do that first or second or third time, but there's just so many options now to just skip ahead and just watch someone else do it better and then learn from it. And honestly, it's a good learning tool. I watch Maximilian play Street Fighter, and then I go, oh, that's a great combo. That is a great combo. I'm gonna start using that combo. And then you use that combo and you win. It's like, is that cheating?
Yeah.
I don't think so, just because I didn't discover it on my own.
Well, you're not learning on your own, but to be honest with you, that's what the human race is that we shouldn't be learning on our own.
It's true.
We're
It's
learning
about collaboration, yeah.
We're learning from each other. So like, I think that's totally fine if that's what we're doing. And if you want to watch the Star Fox ending on YouTube, then you can watch the Star Fox ending on YouTube. But if not, then you don't have to, and you earn it yourself. I think it's more of I think it's more of you feeling like you earned it yourself.
Yeah.
Rather than like bitching about how everybody else can see it.
Yeah.
Well, there are a couple of philosophical angles to this discussion that I think are kind of sitting beneath the surface. Typically, when people are mad, they, I guess, don't really know how to fundamentally elocute what they're mad about. And to a degree, they are doing that. They're saying, like, I feel like my achievement is cheapened if if a baby can just sit down with a controller on invincibility mode and see the exact same ending that I earned through...
Yeah, but I can do it without even playing the game.
I had this thought. A little while ago, and it's kind of a sad thought. But like, what if and when there's a day where like one of us become mentally ill or disabled in a way where like
Coming up soon.
Already there.
Yeah,
no,
that's coming
I'm
up soon.
halfway there. But like where you just can't function, but you want to play games, but you can't. Say like you have a broken hand or something. It's like, why would you? Why like that's a nice option to have for people. Or you're at the same competent level that we are for games, and we can't beat games like Dark Souls, and so we just need a cheat mode.
Well, I mean, the thing is, okay, so having the exclusive club access of knowing the secret thing, I feel like is pretty much invalidated by YouTube. Because anyone can find anything, we can watch someone else do it, and then now, hey, guess what? We have the same information you have. This has been going along before YouTube because they would show screenshots of the ending that you didn't get in Castlevania Symphony of the Night, and in some ways that would make you go, holy shit, like, I'm gonna go back and try it again and try and get that ending. But that's where it would begin. The other part is, oh, well, what about the experience? It cheapens the experience of Star Fox if you are playing it on this other difficulty level. And my response to that is something along the lines of, who are you to say what anyone else's experience is with a game or any piece of media for that matter?
Well, I'm glad you brought that up, because I think that is one of the more fundamental questions behind this and why people get so upset about it. And I think it has to do with intent of experience. Is a game like a toy box that you buy and then do whatever you want with? Or is a game an intended experience from its creators that you were meant to experience in the way that they intended you to?
You're asking the question fundamental to art.
Yes,
So
of course.
that's what art is whether or not you, basically like, is it what the creator intended or is it what you got from it? And the answer is that it's both.
Games are art, we proved it.
It is both, you're right.
The answer is that it's
is
both. Yeah, like it's the creator obviously intended something when he created whatever he made. But
Star Fox.
if you got
It's a fox in space,
Yeah,
Bruce.
But,
he's in a spaceship and shoots lasers.
but if you got something different from it, that's okay. You're allowed to get something different from it. That's the point of art.
I like furries now.
I think if you are an artist and you want to create something that only means one thing, you create it and you never show it to anyone but yourself. That's the only way to do that. It's the only way to do that. As soon as you let it go, it's open for interpretation. And you can try and get out there and explain. You can totally make a case. But that doesn't mean that anyone has to accept that case. As is the nature of art.
Yeah.
We solved it. Great
Boom.
podcast.
Or did we?
Well, but then you're gonna have a bunch of people misunderstand what you were trying to do. Like I had this.
Of course, that happens all the time.
Yes,
Yeah,
that's life,
I had
man.
this. I forget what it was. It was like a creative writing class or something like that. But it was a
Oh,
teacher talking
man.
about how there was. Well, no, they were talking about how this. He was talking about his teaching experience. The guy was pretty down to earth. He was a good guy. But he was talking about how the teacher would break down how this guy saw a brown window. He's like, oh, the brown window is like his soul being crushed, and it's, you get it? It's the sadness of his divorce and all this stuff. And I guess there was an interview with the writer later. Like the guy met him, and he was like, it's just a brown window, dude. Like, doesn't fucking matter.
Yeah.
Chill out. And so that is ultimately what will happen, is that people will put themselves into your art, whether you want them to or not, and try to, I don't know, see how it applies to their life, because people are selfish. And that's going to happen regardless. So, sorry, David Lynch, but that's how it goes.
Sorry, David.
On
I
that
don't
topic,
get my endings.
I think like a week ago, I read some 2-page dissertation about how Silent Hill 3 is all about circumcision, and
Yeah.
how all the like mutilated skin is the foreskin that's been stretched, and it's all about male genital mutilation. And boy, man, my eyes, it was hard to focus on the words after a little bit,
Yeah.
because clearly this guy's got some hang-ups and was projecting that into the game, but who's to say his interpretation's wrong? Especially if you subscribe to the fact that art is half creator, half viewer once it's out in the wild.
What happens if the creator says, no,
Well,
that's not it at all?
At that point, are they allowed to say that? I'm not a question of allowance, but it's kind of pointless to say you're not allowed to think of it that way.
I mean, I think building on that, I think the creator, and this is speaking for myself, I think the creator can explain intent, but they can't explain purpose, and they can't explain like they can say
Well, they can explain purpose.
well, they can say when I was making this,
Yeah.
I wasn't trying to make it all about foreskin. I wasn't trying to do that. That's not what it's not what it meant to me. What it meant to me was this, and then everyone can go, oh. But I don't feel like then that should be then taken as the canon of that piece of art. Doesn't make sense. And you can, and I think it's fair. I think it's almost like a get out of jail free card for the artist to go like, whoa, I don't have any problems with foreskin, or like, hey, like circumcision's cool with me, or whatever the
Made
thing.
a game about it.
But if someone else gets that from it, then they can get that from it. I don't know that they can hold the artist accountable for their personal interpretation, though. I don't know.
So our takeaway is don't make art.
Yeah, just stop.
See you later,
We
all.
fixed it. See you guys next week. So I think that the idea about intent or creator's vision is also core to a lot of other discussions that are starting to happen in games. Specifically, recently, a lot of the cries of censorship, I think, are fundamentally a discussion about creator intent. Rather, the people who cry censorship, I'm not going to put words in their mouth, but the vibe I get reading a lot of what they say is, I want to play this game in the way the creator intended me to play it. Or rather, I want to play this game in the way it was originally released, and I don't want localization to play a factor in that. So if the game, as it was released in Japan, had a 13-year-old with a giant rack, that's the game I want to play. And I think, man, I go 50-50 on whether or not it's just a bunch of creepy dudes who want to see a 13-year-old with a giant rack, or it's a bunch of people who genuinely respect, the developer, and they're like, I'm not a pedophile, but if the creator, whom I respect and have followed his work for this long, and played all of his games unchanged, why then now do I have to experience a changed version of that vision?
I think it's a rationalization, at least in this case, and a lot of other cases when it comes to those sorts of things, is that, like, I always heard a bunch of stoners telling me that they should legalize pot, right? It was always like, well, man, I gotta legalize pot. I'm like, that because you smoke pot. Like, like...
Okay.
And that
Oh,
was...
I get you.
And so to me, I understood, like, the thing was like, yeah, they want this guy wants to see a 13-year-old's rack, so of course he's gonna be like, censorship! Because he has to figure out a reason why he wants to see the 13-year-old's rack. Now, that's not saying that I'm against legalizing pot, or even against, the original creator's vision.
Ephebophilia.
It's
Please
more,
get it right.
It's more, what is it? Ephebophilia?
Oh, geez.
It's good that you don't know.
Okay,
The moment that somebody very, very vehemently makes the distinction between pedophilia and ephebophilia is when you just...
I don't know
Wait,
what that
so what is the
Turn off the
distinction?
monitor
I don't know what
What's
any
the
of that is.
distinction?
One is an attraction to a pre-pubescent girl, and the other is an attraction to post-pubescent girl.
But
Jesus Christ.
Wait, hold on. Post-pubescent, but with the ceiling on it?
Well, post-pubescent, but not legal. So, a girl...
Oh my god.
That's weird, though. That's almost worse.
It's kind of worse, yeah, because it's justified.
It's just like, I just don't like the law.
Basically, yeah, no, dudes will say she can bear children, therefore it's fun, like, it's
Nature
physically
is
okay
telling.
for... Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, essentially, yeah.
It's like how Nambla always,
just state of nature,
points,
man.
They point to the Romans, like, they would wrestle all the
Yep.
time.
Yep.
They're like, well, we're not Romans anymore, and they're all dead. So,
There's some Roman stuff.
okay. Yeah,
Well, anyway, circling back all the way to
Caesar.
the difficulty
it's
conversation.
How do we
difficult
get
out
it?
there if you just love 14-year-olds.
yeah.
Boys.
Must be rough.
I mean,
make
like,
it real.
it's one of those things where, like, we just got into a discussion about art because we're all trying to interpret whether or not this guy just wants to play a really, really hard game, or I think what's defined by his experience is that he needs other people's experiences to be bad. But I don't think that's wrong, by the way. I think that that's something that is innate to humans, in the sense that, for example, if I go to a movie and I enjoy the movie and James doesn't enjoy the movie, then I had a good experience. And James had a bad experience. However, if James then describes to me, I didn't have a good experience and here's why, it will affect my experience. So
I'm learning that with Yelp reviews.
yeah, yeah.
It's this weird. I'm starting to just not look at them anymore because we've had this discussion before.
Oh, that's wise.
It's all polarizing, where it's either this is the worst restaurant I've ever been to in my life, or oh my god, these eggs will give you an orgasm. And it's usually always just kind of somewhere in the middle. Because typically, if anyone ever tells you something is the best thing ever, you go into it and you go, yeah, it's okay.
Right.
Because you were expecting a life-changing thing when we all know the life-changing things typically come when you're not expecting them.
Wow.
Very profound, Adam.
Let's throw some more philosophy onto this. I think I've said this several times before, but
I want to be with a 14-year-old.
at the age of
It's not wrong. Nature intended it this way.
Romans did it.
At the
Gross.
age of 31, I've come to the ultimate conclusion that all human beings wish to be considered individuals yet part of a group.
Yeah. Yep. They want the best of both.
And it's
Absolutely right.
and it's not anyone's fault. It's just weird psychology.
Well,
It's sociology, man. Like don't group me. But I want to make sure I have other people that agree with me, please.
You know what's interesting about that? Just the other day I was reading about this. That individualism is coming from today's society, usually Western society. That wasn't always the case. I mean, like that in human history, it's not like that all the time.
Yeah.
So we want our own freedoms. We want, like you said, we want everybody to feel like we're not conforming to anything. But instinctually, humans have to be part of a group. They have to be.
That's how you survive.
That's how you survive. And as you get older, you start realizing you do need companionship. And you do need to figure out how to meet in the middle with someone. And I think, and this is going to be really offensive to a lot of our viewers. They're younger.
Ooh.
So they haven't reached that age yet, which sounds ridiculous because I'm dating myself. But when I was younger, that's what I always thought. I was like, well, who gives a shit? As long as it's me, right? No, that's not the case. The older you get, the more you'll realize, oh, wait a minute, you're just lonely. And the more lonely you get, the more you realize you have to compromise. You have to, all of a sudden, you have to start adjusting to other humans. And again, instinctually, that's what humans are. They are not meant to live alone. And as you get older, like James just said, you want to be an individual, but you also want to be part of a group. And one will kind of win out the other in a lot of different scenarios. You'll see. You'll get there.
Bruce is right. And as you get older, there is something that gets more difficult.
Ad read.
Yep. You felt it coming a mile away, Bruce. Then that's sleep. But our fine friends at Casper can help you with that. Don't make sleeping more difficult than it needs to be. Buy a Casper mattress today. So schlocky reading aside, goddamn, Casper mattresses are wonderful.
I sleep on one every night.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, I do.
It's good shit, huh?
It's really great, actually. Yeah, it's really, really good.
So this is a refrain that I've brought up a lot, but if you're maybe just graduating college or entering the workforce, you're becoming an adult, you're decking out your own place, you can sleep on your shitty like twin mattress from college that was on the floor and had sheets maybe half the time.
As good as the day as I found it on the highway.
Basically, yeah. Sprayed it down with Febreze and ready to go. No, it's fine to live like that for a while, but once you start to earn money, it's okay to live well. And part of living well is kind of decking out the things in your life that you spend a lot of time doing, but you don't tend to care about because you're young, or maybe you got old and never really thought about it. But holy shit, having a nice mattress, having a nice bed, is the greatest thing. The emotional respite of laying down on a nice mattress at the end of a hard day cannot be understated. I don't think overstated. That was the one. Casper mattresses are fucking great. Essentially, you can also try it for 100 days. They have a risk-free return policy. If you don't like it after 100 days, they will pick it up. You don't even have to like bother with shipping it, and they'll refund you. So essentially, you get a real-life test for it, and they don't cost that much more than an actual mattress. It's $500 for a twin and $950 for a king-size mattress. That's about what mattresses cost.
Oh, absolutely.
So not only are you not really paying more than getting a full new mattress, but it's also a lot better. And it comes in this awesome, like, hyper-sealed package. Just be careful about how you open it, because it will inflate rapidly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it pops right open.
It shoved me against the wall. It was pretty cool. Felt like I was in Benny Hill for a second. But hopefully we have convinced you to care for your back and your ass while you sleep. So you can get $50 towards any mattress purchase by going to casper.com/dudesoup and using our code DUDESOUP. They say terms and conditions apply. It's a little ominous. I'm not sure what that means, but it's probably nothing to worry about. Once more, that's casper.com/dudesoup and use our promo code DUDESOUP for $50 off new mattresses. And Jesus Christ, you should try it out. So thank you for your sponsorship, Casper. I look forward to sleeping on your mattress again tonight. Every day. Oh, so a thought occurred to me, and this is even deeper. We're gonna go even deeper into this.
Wow, even deeper?
Even deeper. So I can summarize the consensus we've arrived at so far, which is that art is both it's a combination of personal experience and creator's intent. And that combination is what creates individual meaning for a player or a viewer. In that respect, then, is a backlash towards easier gaming the evidence of the first generation gap in gaming culture? Because, and you know, let me explain this, it won't take long, but essentially, there's a whole generation of gamers that got reared on very difficult games. And in that regard, seeing the ending was the ultimate reward. And you didn't get to cheat, and if there were codes or whatever, you could take the bitch way out. But like, you didn't get to see level 6 in Battletoads without having to earn it in some respect. You could start with more lives and you could take warps, but there were certain levels that I just never saw as a kid because I wasn't good enough. So if you were if you were at school or whatever talking about your experience with a game, and some other guy's like, oh my god, you can't wait until you get to level 5, it's like the surfboard level, and there are these like cool little whirlpools that suck you down, that's incentive to go back and play. However, if as a kid I could have just hit a button and see every level in Battletoads at a stretch, and then be done with it, I wouldn't have had nearly the impact that it did. And I think ultimately, part of that is, you have this whole crew of gamers that grew up playing games in a certain way and having a certain experience with them that they really like, and I think the core of it is they want other people to have that experience too. So, when they're kind of shouting down this stuff, what I hear is not so much, this game is ruined because other people can beat it, it's that I had an experience with games that I really treasure, and I'm scared that that's going away.
So, this isn't a counter to that, this is just another perspective, but remember when there was a time when you didn't get to see two people fucking unless you got into a very close relationship with another human being, spent a fair enough time with them that they trusted you to take off all their clothes, and then you took off all your clothes, and then you fucked them?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really difficult. That's very, very difficult.
It's not an easy game. Yeah. And there are no cheat codes. Necessarily, well, I mean, I guess
there are,
but they're
like alcohol.
But remember when that was the case.
Yeah.
Now I said to preserve that experience, that rewarding, fulfilling experience, I removed all pornography.
Right.
It's not exact parallel. But I'd rather have the option of both.
There are a lot of people who, I mean, I grew up in the church, man. That is exactly the logic. Which is that
you grew up in the church where a ton of people were watching porn and telling other people not to watch porn.
I know, but I had a lot of adults who, even at the time, I didn't believe, but would be like, listen, my wife and I waited until we were married to have sex or even kiss, and it was worth it. And when I was a kid, I was like, oh, you're justifying it to yourself. Like that was the vibe I got. But at the same time, there are people who will legitimately argue that the experience of waiting until you are married is better and promotes a better type of relationship. Whether or not that's true, or they personally believe it, or just trying to reinforce it for themselves, I can't say because I'm not in their head. But there are people who legitimately argue that.
Yeah, I know. But we got to worry about society, not them.
Right. Yeah, and that's the catch, is that like there are people that experience totally works for, and I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
Like that's and I guess that's what we're boiling down to here with games are hard, is that if that's your experience, if you want your game to be really, really hard, then go play a really hard game. Then go find every other Dark Souls and Bloodborne and whatever else. Or if you want it to be really easy, then play Star Fox on the easy mode. And that's the cool thing about video games and pornography, is that there are thousands of different experiences that you can find at any given point. So right now, that's probably we live in a really cool world where we can do that, and you can find those experiences. But I still understand. I still understand where they're coming from when it comes to I want everybody else to have the same experience I'm having. I get it. It actually requires more maturity now in this world than it used to, because the experiences were less.
It is a strange thing though. I'm with you there, and I'm tired of. I'm sure you're tired of hearing it because I'm tired of saying it. I like this world we live in where you have a million different options. And it is strange to be like, no, this is how you have fun.
Yeah.
Let people enjoy whatever they want to enjoy.
Right.
Unless pedophilia is involved.
Ephebophilia.
But
Nature intended it to be that way.
Well, I mean, it
Just
goes
us
back.
with our laws, our dogmatic Puritan laws.
Do what you
Religion
want.
ruins everything.
Do what you want that has the least impact, especially negative,
Yeah.
on the lives of others. You know.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
So-
just a pretty basic and axiomatic way to live. Like, do whatever you want as
What?
long as it doesn't harm anyone.
Hold on. Elise has something she wants to say.
The lamest that like nobody likes.
you like Yarny.
Well,
no,
she-
even I didn't like Yarny.
Actually,
Hang on.
that's weird. I liked Unravel quite a bit. That's okay though, Elise. You're allowed to not like things.
Well, you're talking about like Sherlock Holmes and stuff, right? Like
Yeah.
mystery games, Agatha Christie.
But you have
Mr.
fun with those. That's your experience, though.
Sometimes I feel like I'm just getting through them.
Oh, well, that's weird.
That's not great, but
Yeah. You don't want to
Like,
play.
woman's first-
Obligation in all things.
I mean, play what you want to play because you want to play it. It should never feel like a job. That's always my favorite
yeah.
It
thing.
does for Elise,
Well,
apparently.
yeah.
Or
Well,
any
it's like-
MMO trapped game like Destiny or The
Or the
Division.
person tries to justify pirating a game. They're like, I played it for 30 hours and I didn't have any fun. They're like, what were you doing?
Yeah.
I'm bored.
You just got 30 hours of your life to pony up to something you don't like.
people do.
Yeah, I mean, well, and
I
honestly,
get-
some
yeah.
people want to play Dark Souls because of that. Like we always say, it's like it's a punch in the balls simulator because they just want to get through it and they want to say they got through it.
Yeah.
Well, but there's also joy when you beat it because it's so fucking hard. Where like,
know, man.
I know the feeling as I went through it where I'm like, you're like, this is impossible, this is impossible. No, it's not
But
impossible.
was it joy or relief?
It's
Little bit of both,
we're
yeah.
individuals though. That's the thing though. For him, it's joy. For me, I've fought a boss in Bloodborne and then beaten it and gone like, well, that was stupid.
Right,
Like that was
yeah.
my takeaway. Like I didn't feel any satisfaction. Now that's just Adam could have fought the exact same boss, and I know for a fact that millions of other people fought that same boss because of how successful the game was and how praised it was, and they had a completely different reaction. So we're all individuals, man, and I'm not gonna try and take away their bosses.
Well, here's a follow-up question for you. Would you say that Dark Souls as an experience would be fundamentally altered if they added an easy mode to it? Because it has a reputation now, and it has an image because it doesn't have that.
We suggested that a while ago and we
Yeah.
got just buried.
No,
for
people
it.
hate it, and I think it's because Dark Souls as a gameplay experience is so tied to that
Right.
adding an easy mode or a no death mode would essentially, in a lot of gamers' minds, undo what
That's-
makes it Dark Souls.
So
Yeah, go ahead.
I mean, I was just gonna say there's a complication of gaming. I think that you can do. There's certain games where you're playing it and you're like, oh, this is the point. This is the median where they set the AI, they set the difficulty or whatever,
And
and
what's-
below this they're just dumb, right? We were thinking about playing CS:GO the other day,
Oh, yeah.
yesterday, right? And so I was like, oh, I'm gonna go on to make sure my controls or whatever, make sure everything's good against bots. And I went against bots and I set it to easy. And there was a moment where all the bad guys, all the terrorists, gathered in a group and just stared at the counter-terrorist groups. They didn't start shooting. They didn't take any shots. They didn't do anything. They just gathered, grouped up, and stared. And then everyone just shot into the big grouping of guys that weren't firing back. And it's like, that's not how the game
Yeah.
is necessarily intended
Right.
if you're fighting against bots.
But the developers built it in there.
But it's
because-
built in. It's built in there, and it feels like the dial was not pointed straight up the middle. It was turned pretty far this
Right.
way.
Because they want people to feel like
Yeah.
they're leveling up. They want people to feel like they're getting better at the game. Right?
I guess there's just no way to get satisfaction. It's purely there. It's purely there so you can just do it. I guess, and I feel like there would be a way for Dark Souls to have an easy mode, because there is a trainer, right? Isn't there a trainer on
I
PC?
mean, yeah, but it's not
Oh,
created by the creators of the game.
No, yeah.
Therefore,
it's
I
made by
think-
it's made by like modders.
Yeah. I think then the statement is like, and this also goes back to the YouTube statement. If you want to go outside of the intended experience of a game and find help, that's different than the creators then embracing that way. So it's kind of like if you're in a movie and somebody's just like on their phone, they're altering their movie experience. You didn't really choose to do that though, and certainly the creators didn't intend for you to do that or even be in a room with somebody who's doing that.
I'm gonna wrap it all in.
All right.
Wrap it all in right now.
Package it all
Lawrence.
up.
Okay, so number one, how many of those people that played Dark Souls didn't ever look up anything else about Dark Souls and played all the way through?
So that's the weird part, because Dark Souls is like you're getting at, pretty much designed to be beaten collaboratively.
Right. It's a community game. So let's go all the way back to what we were talking about with community and how they want everybody to. Basically, these people, I feel like they're saying, well, no, I want it to be hard so that only a select few get the ending. But if it's a group experience and we all need to be going, and like again, we all need to be a community. Humans need to be a community. Which one is it? I feel like that dichotomy there does not resolve itself. And so they have to play Dark Souls in a vacuum.
I've tried to do that.
They have to play. They have to never look it up on YouTube. They have to never look up any strategies.
We did that with Dark Souls 3 because we had to play it early.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And it's this weird thing where like, because like we didn't know where the fuck to go. Never played the game before.
We were
Brand
figuring
new.
it out though.
We were figuring it out, yeah. But it was like this sort of like you can kind of feel the sense of like community. But then also I could feel the eyes in the back of my head of like, imagine if I was live streaming this and there's just people going, "Oh my god, you piece, go left." And you're like,
No, that's gonna happen soon, Adam.
I know, but at the same time, I'm like, but I kind of like having my privacy. I like being able to enjoy things in my own way. Right now, someone is watching me, half paying attention to Day of the Tentacle, being like, "Why aren't you saying this to the horse?"
Right, yeah.
By the way, we're playing Day of the Tentacle.
Playing Day of the Tentacle.
Yeah, it's a great
Oh shit,
game.
we should have. I thought we did mention that.
It doesn't really matter. You should mute it completely because it's all dialogue. But,
Yeah.
Regardless, it's just
Tell me
like,
what to do.
I enjoy playing games at my own pace and the way I want to play them, and I don't like telling other people how to enjoy their entertainment.
I think going back to the question of would an easy mode ruin the game?
Hey, it's Joel.
I don't know the answer to that. I have no idea what the answer to that is. It's a tough one. I don't think there is an answer, honestly. It's not like math. But I do think that there are enough games that if I tried it and I didn't like it, I should be able to play something else that is of the difficulty level that I want it to be. And
I
so
agree.
that's the beauty of, like you were saying about pornography or video games. There's so many of them that I can walk away and find something else if I really want to. If I still want to experience, I'll watch someone else play. Or I'll just grind away at
Yeah,
it
get better
and
at it.
maybe hate my life. And then at the end I can go, was that worth it? Was it not worth it? And then, again, assess it on an individual level because that's what we are.
Oh, I saw a thread earlier today where they're saying like top Twitch streamers are gonna get Dark Souls 3 early. The top comment was like, oh great, I can watch a bunch of people who I don't care for watching this game and spoil the story for me. No thanks. And then there's someone who's very
Alright, so you
very
said-
open-minded, goes, no one's forcing you, man.
Yeah. So you're not
Yeah.
going to. Great.
So just don't. But then I could see the gears turning. He was like, no, but I need to let people know that
Right.
I'm not gonna watch this. Like,
Right.
okay, thank you, cool,
All right, we'll see you later.
bye.
Yeah, no, I know.
But I'm not gonna do it.
Yeah, no, he heard you.
And that's how it is like in a group of friends. When you're in a group of friends and one friend is like, I don't want to see that movie, and every other friend is like, I want to see that movie. They're like, okay, dude, well, we'll see you after the movie.
Yeah.
Like that's sort of what happens. And like when you are in a group and you're all humans together, eventually you have to relent and be like, okay, you know what? I'll see the movie. Because you want to hang out with people. You want to be with people. That's and what's weird about the internet and that this sort of thing is you're not necessarily with people, so you can say, fuck you, I'm out. Right? You can say that kind of thing. And you can, but then if you keep doing that to everybody on the internet and in real life or whatever else, you're back to being alone. So it's a weird
But that's when you tell yourself it's their fault, not yours.
boy, and if you're saying that about everybody around you, officially you are, I think, not a human being anymore.
You're kind of out of the human race at that point.
Yeah.
And people have done that before, done the Walden thing where they just kind of peace out, and for philosophical reasons or whatever. But
Yeah.
it does kind of seem like I have faith that the human race will deal with this.
Oh no, yeah, sure.
But you're right. Compromise it's a failing art.
Well,
It's going away.
A good example of this is the movie Into the Wild, which I don't know if anybody ever
Oh
saw.
yeah. Well, I haven't seen the movie.
So the kid,
It's where it's a
Sean
really
Penn movie.
and it's funny because when the movie first started, basically it's about this kid that like leaves his parents and leaves his family, leaves his friends, and he's like, I'm gonna go hike alone because I don't like anything, and like he has cool experiences along the way. Spoiler alert, at the very end he dies, and he dies
It's based on a true story.
Based on a true story. He dies because he like eats a poison berry or something. He didn't realize it was poison, and one of the things he writes in his journal at the very end is he realizes experiences should be shared. And I remember that was very poignant for me because when I was watching that movie, I knew exactly where it was going, and I knew exactly what was going to happen. And I was like, this motherfucker doesn't realize that the human experience is about being with other humans, not about being alone. And when he dies, that's what he realizes. So anyway.
Something to be said about that though is that the reason a book like that is written is because the author identified that there were enough people out there that would see something
Absolutely,
in this.
yes.
But then you should also do the double flipperoo, which is that if there are enough people out there, then of that group, maybe there are some people that wouldn't necessarily be at the end of their life they would have been like, this was fucking awesome. Like,
Yeah.
I'm so glad I got to experience this by myself, you know?
Yeah, that's a good
And
point.
goes back to individualism, you know?
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, again, that's like if you do that enough, though. That's what I mean. I guess
Yeah.
Eventually, like when nobody wants to die alone. Right?
It's easy to point the compass in the direction of society as a whole,
Sure.
but that doesn't mean you'll catch all the fish with you as
Of
you
course,
go.
of course.
So what the author was doing was like, this is kind of where things are going. I'm pointing the compass, and this is what I'm feeling things out. But it isn't unreasonable to assume that there may be some fish left behind
Sure,
as
sure.
you continue on.
Of course.
I don't know.
No, I see what you're saying, yeah.
Understanding the human condition is something that people have failed to fully do for the last 8 billion
Yeah,
years.
for as long as humans have
So,
existed. Yeah.
10,000 years.
Yeah, yeah, sorry, 6,000 years.
So, anyways, easy mode on Dark Souls.
Ever
Yeah.
since Eve and Adam in the garden.
What I-
to fucking.
what I would tell anyone who's mad about these sorts of things, because to a degree I am, not mad, but I think I understand the knee-jerk reaction to be like, no, why would you do that? Is that maybe in a sense, and this is me speaking to myself but also embrace that what you grew up with or what you identified with gaming is changing, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. And that also, if you like playing Star Fox on hard, that's fine. There may be some kid out there who can't beat it on hard right away and would stop playing it if that were his or her only option. But an invincibility mode might give that person a chance to play it through and see these levels that they never played before. And maybe they love it so much they play it on easy 20 times, and then they get to memorize all the enemy patterns and they're like, shit, this is boring, now I want to step it up. And they go to easy and normal, and then maybe hard. It's the idea of converting non-gamers into hardcore gamers or whatever.
Oh, I see.
And this is purely me speaking from the perspective of saying that you don't have to be so exclusionary and angry whenever anything is different. This sort of thing happened when the Wii came out. I remember especially a lot of people said that this is the death of Nintendo because there's that whole Nintendo hard thing. A lot of people used to associate them with like NES games, and Nintendo was the core hardcore gaming company. They never really were. It was
Yeah.
just a function of the times.
Well,
they made
because
toys
they
for Christ's
had
sake.
like 56 kilobytes to make
Exactly.
a game.
And they had to make it last. You had to put down your fucking $60 in 1989.
It's
Welcome to the Old Man Podcast.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's weird too that
But the old men are the ones complaining now. At least I hope.
Maybe.
I don't
I don't know. Yeah, because otherwise, what are they comparing it to?
Yeah, right.
But on top of that, it's weird to think about Star Fox as the game you put your heels in the sand over.
It's just one of
because-
many, I think.
It is, but it's weird that's what's prompting this discussion that we're having right now. A game that I beat when I was like 10,
10, yeah, no, really young.
and I'm not better then than I am now. I'm probably a lot better at problem solving and gaming than I was then.
I
So
always thought Star Fox was like 2 games away from being like Sonic level of just like who gives a shit.
Just plow through it, yeah.
Well, no, not plow through it, but for the fact like Sonic's a joke right now.
Yeah.
Like we put a scarf on him, still a joke. It's still just
Oh, I
like
see, I see.
like furry lovers just love Sonic, and that's about as good as it's gonna get probably for Sonic
Yeah.
next until Nintendo buys it from Sega when they go under.
Oof.
What?
They already have their mascot. They don't need no Sonic. Man, I love Sonic so much.
No.
No one's ever said that.
that's not true.
Well, if you like thinking
They were
about
just generally masturbating.
Yeah. He's so fast, and Tails got 2 tails in the old butthole.
His name's Miles. Miles Prower.
Who?
Tails' name is Miles. His real name is Miles Prower.
I love seeing Bruce's reaction to these things. Head in hands.
Bruce, did you hear me?
Yeah, no, I heard
Do you get it?
He goes fast.
Just like the kick combination could be a throw or whatever.
Who at Sega was like eats chili dogs?
He loves them.
That's one of my favorite
No one
things
at
about
Sega.
Sonic.
No, I don't think anyone
the
at
cartoon,
Sega
right?
said that. Yeah,
Yeah,
that was
that's
from
the
the cartoon
cartoon.
that
Oh,
I'm pretty
really?
sure no Sega. A Sega executive was like, "Sure, you can make a cartoon, just don't make it stupid." They're like, "Chili dog."
As I get older, I really appreciate Nintendo a lot more, and just how they have created these timeless characters like Link and Mario, where like they never talk really. They say a couple lines. Like there's no character development behind them whatsoever.
That's not true. Sonic likes chili dogs.
Well,
Well,
that's-
that he's comparing it.
And he grew to
He's
love chili dogs
contrasting.
even more.
He's
oh.
contrasting.
Sonic has more character.
So like you go to Disneyland and it's always
deep.
like
It does, kinda,
I
yeah.
feel like I'm whisked away into a magical land, and then you go to Universal Studios and like, look, it's Despicable Me. me.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
That's how I feel about Sega, where it's just like it's this disposable thing
Oh,
that will be forgotten. Like Shrek's a fucking joke.
Sega.
But you go there and it's like, oh, Shrek 4D. God, I miss Tomorrowland.
I know.
So there you go.
I don't know. Tomorrowland's got some weird shit too.
Well, yeah, but it's better than Sonic Land.
That is true. I don't know. I don't know though. God, Sonic Land would be something else. Just smell weird. It smells like chili.
Chili dogs and chili
also,
dogs.
there was a ride that buckled you in here.
Yeah, and you just had to run.
And you just had to keep moving your legs and just moving you around.
Oh, that sounds awesome.
Yeah, and it just it has speakers on either side of your head that's just blasting Sonic
That
songs.
sounds awesome.
Yeah,
That'd be
and then they
we
have,
should design a Sonic theme park.
Oh man,
God damn.
And we should sell it to
Sega?
nobody.
Oh, Sega.
Sega,
They'd
give us
buy it.
money.
God.
Sega doesn't have enough money to buy our
So,
ideas.
Having worked in a GameStop when a new Sonic game comes out, could you imagine the crowd that would line up for the opening day of Sonic Land? God damn, there'd
Is
be
this
some
that one guy in
weirdos.
the outfit looking a little sheepish?
Yeah, there'd be like a dude in a squirrel costume playing Sonic on 2 DSs at the same time.
I don't think I've met anybody that actually liked Sonic for real.
Miles.
Miles likes Sonic?
Miles
Oh, I
Luna.
can't wait to rip into
I was
him.
a Genesis kid. I loved Sonic.
Well, sure, yeah.
Sonic was my jam. People were playing Super Mario World. I was playing Sonic the Hedgehog 2.
Yeah, but not anymore, though.
Well,
Well, no,
because I
because
remember
there hasn't been
my
anything
introduction. My introduction to Miles was we did the Gauntlet together, and we had a lot of downtime. And
Oh,
he had
my
one
name
of
is Miles. I
he had one
love
of those-
Sonic.
He had one of those games cases.
Hey.
And he's playing Sonic Generations, and he's like, "Hey, you having fun there?" He goes, "Yeah." I'm like, "Too bad Sonic's not good anymore." And he's like,
Hold on.
"What?"
Hold on. Sonic Generations was good, but that's because it was just a throwback game to all the other Sonic games. Sonic Generations was a good game, probably the last good one.
To be fair, when he was playing it, it was the Dreamcast style,
Sonic
Yeah,
Adventure.
yeah.
move fast, and he was it looked like I'd punched his mother. We'd become friends by the end.
We got
Despite
past it.
everything.
But Miles is one of those guys who's like unapologetically like, oh, he apologizes. He's like, I love Sonic, but I get it. That's a fucking joke, but I do love it. It's a part of my childhood.
Right.
Like,
Well, it's like me watching Flash. Like, I know Flash isn't a good television show, but I still watch it. I can tell you that it's not good.
It would be, I think
just-
even
yeah.
more so than that. Imagine if you had always watched Flash since you were a kid. Imagine you were a
Wow.
10-year-old Bruce
Yeah,
and
that
you were
hurts.
watching. Well, there was that show, remember?
Yeah,
There was a Flash television show.
was.
Imagine if
There
you
are
watched.
throwbacks to that in the new show.
Imagine if you watched that when you were like 10 years old and it was your favorite show. And then they brought back Flash after, kind of a hiatus of whateverness. And then and you're like, it's not great.
Well, that's like you defending Power Rangers. Like, you like Power Rangers because you watched so much of it. I think even from your childhood, right?
Yeah.
So,
I'm pretty apologetic.
We know that it's not good.
And I don't recommend it to anyone.
Right, yeah, we know that it's not good, but you still like it.
Yeah.
But
But I was gonna say, nobody likes Sonic. I don't think Miles even likes Sonic.
no, I think
You gotta talk to Miles and find
Keep
out.
making games though. Someone's playing them.
Who?
Individuals.
Sega
Who? Like 10 of
Telling
them?
you, man.
The ones that want to die alone in the wilderness?
Yes, they come out of the woodwork when Sonic games come out. Man, when Shadow the Hedgehog came out, holy shit. Some weirdo kids.
I am a big Batman fan. We're all going to go see the movie this weekend, but I watched one of the new animated movies they did. That they've been doing this whole run with the whole Damien storyline and stuff like that. But like, holy shit, this new one is called like Bloodlines or something. So there's Batwoman, who's a lesbian. They're very adamant about pushing that one forward. And then there's Batwing, who is Lucius Fox's kid,
Oy.
who finds like a space suit, and he's like, I was a Marine.
Cool.
Now I'm so at one point they're like, Bat people assemble, and I'm just like, fuck
Oh,
this.
wow.
This is so bad. And Batman himself has been kidnapped, and he's like out of the picture for most of the movie. And I was just like,
That sounds awesome.
I watched it on a plane. I was just like, I'm done. I'm done with this. This is bad.
I'm gonna go
But
to-
I'll watch it.
I'm
I'll
gonna
watch
go-
it.
yeah,
I'm a
that's 'cause you're a Batman
fan.
It's
fan.
saturation.
I'm gonna go on a limb and say all those WB, or most of those WB animated things are not very good. Sorry.
I'm feeling the same way about
There's only a
Daredevil.
couple. There's only a couple.
I watched The Dark Knight Returns.
Those are
That's
good.
really good.
Those are good.
Oh,
That's
those are
it.
fantastic. Well, so they're doing Killing Joke. So they balance it
Oh, yeah, I
out.
saw that.
They have basically the shit tier, which is like the new 52 stuff. It started with like Justice League
Justice
Doomsday
League,
or
that's
whatever.
garbage, yeah.
Didn't
And
they
then
already
they took-
reboot New 52?
Yeah, so that's what they're doing. They're taking that line and they're making it into an animated like ongoing series of like, here's Batman, he's got a kid now, and then here's the Court of Owls, but we'll truncate that into half an hour.
It's not good.
It's not good.
I watched it.
Yeah, none of those are really good. But then they're doing like Dark Knight Returns and then Killing Joke, and they're taking these old things and remastering them in like Batman Year One and stuff like that. But they're gonna run out, which sucks. But
And then it's time to reboot it again.
let's take it again.
Maybe they'll do Sonic Returns, like the
wow.
Dark Sonic Returns. Dark Sonic They
already
could do
did it.
evil
Shadow.
They already have
Shadow
Darkseid.
Remember
did that.
Shadow? He
He's
had
already
a
there.
gun.
They got him.
There's 2 guns.
They did that.
And he rail
No,
grinds.
but what about like a Sonic, but an evil Sonic?
That's him.
Like a
That's
twin.
Shadow.
Yeah, that's Shadow.
Pretty
There's
sure
also
isn't he made from
there's-
Sonic's DNA?
yeah, I think he's a clone.
Yeah.
And then also Shadow can turn
down
into a
bad.
werewolf sometimes.
Yeah.
And then also I think there is a Dark Shadow who's like
What's the white one?
what?
There's a white hedgehog
Yeah, there
that
is
has
Silver.
telekinetic powers.
I think it's Silver the Hedgehog.
Silver.
Silver.
That
Yeah.
sounds awesome.
He's like a government experiment
Does
or
he
something.
like chili dogs too?
He likes hyper chili
I
dogs.
guess he could telekinetically put a chili dog in his mouth.
Man, I want to see a hedgehog create a chili dog through telekinesis.
What they're doing
All the
with,
ingredients levitating.
what they're doing with Batwoman and Batwing and all that is like what they do with Sonic when they're like, and Knuckles,
And Tails.
and Silver,
And Shadow.
and here's a fat thing.
What's the bat? There's
Reggie
a
the
bat
Batman.
character.
Oh yeah, the bat.
She's got
The
tits,
girl?
and people
She's like wearing
that.
a bustier.
Oh, and Amy. Don't forget about
No,
Amy.
Amy's different.
Amy
Amy's
is
Rose. Is one?
Rose
I think it's probably Rose.
is
Oh my
it.
gosh.
It's
Yep.
all garbage.
Don't you have an ad read?
Yes.
Get us out of this Sonic
segue.
block.
Speaking of sexy underwear, our other sponsor for this episode of Dude Soup is Mac Weldon, who makes probably the finest underwear I've ever put around my junk.
Wow.
Yeah, it's pretty great shit. So they use premium fabrics and a simple shopping experience at macweldon.com. The products are naturally antimicrobial, which is pretty cool. Which means they also sell undershirts and things like that. So if you got some crotch stank at the end of the day, first of all, consider wiping a little more thoroughly. Second of all, get you some Mac Weldon underwear. You might stink, but your underwear won't, or your undershirt, or whatever you happen to buy. They also sell socks, so odors of any kind, they will clad and hide for you. They want you to be comfortable, so if you don't like your first pair, you can keep it, and they will still refund you, no questions asked. So it's another risk-free shopping experience. If you feel like your genitals have not been properly cradled until this point in your life, and this can definitely fall under the you don't know what you're missing category, so I encourage you to give it a shot. Go to macweldon.com and get 20% off using promo code SOUP, S-O-U-P. That's macweldon.com and get 20% off using our promo code SOUP. Thank you, Mac Weldon, for treating our genitals proper and giving our fans the chance to try that as well.
You wearing your Max?
I am.
I'm wearing mine.
I think I am. No, I'm wearing boxers. I didn't want to wear tight underwear today.
Man.
Hey, does Sonic have genitals?
No, he's
he
pretty
runs with no
smooth.
pants on.
Yeah, he doesn't
Depends
have
on how you
pants.
draw
He has
him.
a scarf.
Oh, I have seen. So it's interesting. I'm glad you brought that up, Bruce.
Yeah.
Because there are parts of Sonic's body that are ostensibly covered in needles, and then other parts that are ostensibly either furry or not furry at all, like his belly.
Yeah.
I have seen his penis drawn in so many different ways.
What do you mean? Where?
Sometimes it looks like a dog.
Yeah, sometimes he's got a little red rocket. Sometimes it's just
Oh,
a fleshy
I see.
bit. Sometimes it's a human dick on a Sonic. Sometimes it's blue and furry.
What does a hedgehog's penis actually look like?
Oh shit! I don't want to look that
I
up.
do
Probably
not
just
wanna
like
look
a pink little thing
Yeah,
that
it's
Like a
Ooh,
red
no.
rocket, probably,
Yeah.
right?
I used to have a hedgehog, and yeah, he just had a little belly button. I never saw him aroused and never wanted to.
Did you ever
he
try
didn't
and
love you.
arouse him?
No.
He didn't love you.
I would rub his tummy sometimes, and then he would just like wiggle his stupid little feet around.
Oh.
Hedgehogs are cute when they're trying to stay alive.
Was he fast?
No, hedgehogs are not fast.
They have to go fast.
All right.
I mean, as creatures of prey,
There we go.
I imagine that they can run quickly, but
No, Sonic's a predator.
predates those
Wait, is
Chili
Sonic
dogs?
a predator or prey?
Sonic. I mean,
Hedgehogs are prey?
yes, they eat plants and they get eaten by
Are you
large
listening to
birds.
this? How is Sonic then a superhero?
They didn't think hard.
chili dogs.
Yeah.
He's chili dogs.
His villain is a fat.
He's a
fat
predator. He's a
Eggman.
predator of chili dogs.
His villain is not like a hawk that would swoop down and pick him apart.
His best friend is a fox that everyone thought was a female until it was realized that.
Wait, really? People
Yeah,
thought.
I thought it was.
Miles Teller?
No, when they gave out that little poster, remember the poster that had two silhouettes? And you were like,
Oh, there's his dick.
second one.
I think you were the only person saying that in front of
Oh,
the
well.
GameStop.
That wasn't
It was
GameStop.
EB Games or
That wasn't-
EBX.
Babbage's.
Babbage's, yeah.
Target.
One of those two.
Well, given that we were, I guess, yeah, we were all kind of reared in an era of games where difficulty was the defining
Absolutely.
factor.
yeah.
Shit,
you know
I-
how fucking impossible this game was as a kid?
Yeah.
Trying to figure this
With no
stuff out?
internet?
There's one part where you have to, you need vinegar in this game. And what you have to do
Oh,
is
you
you have
have
to
to
put
wine?
you have to put the wine into a time capsule so that it ages and
Oh
becomes
my
vinegar.
gosh, wow.
I did not know that wine became vinegar as a kid.
yeah.
So
This
imagine.
wasn't a game for kids, maybe.
Yeah, well, I'm saying there was no internet for me to look this up. I already didn't have the internet
Yeah.
to do it. So I was like, imagine figuring that one out, or like talking to a friend. He's like, "Yeah, you just put the wine in there and it's vinegar." I'm like, I learned something today. Thank you, Tim Schafer.
So I mean, that's the thing. There's certain to boil down a game to being one thing is what makes it good or bad. Doesn't really make any
Sonic
sense.
likes chili dogs.
Sonic liking chili dogs is good, but
Right.
it's not the
Theme park
only
out of
thing
it.
Sonic
Oh,
has
come
going
on.
for it. So a game like this, like there's the writing, there's the art, and there's the puzzle solving aspect of it. I started playing Grim Fandango in like college. I was like 20 or something. I was like, I'm gonna try Grim Fandango. I like this game.
Yeah.
And I got probably the equivalent of about 10 minutes in, and I was like, I have no idea what to do.
Oh yeah. Just gotta explore, man.
And the
Kind of that
idea,
Jack
I mean, the
Nicholson
idea
guy.
is you
Give
click
you some
on
bread.
everything, you ask everyone everything, you try every single item in every single other item, and that's how you learn it. But I didn't have time for that, and so I was like, I waited, and this is pre-YouTube when you would go and someone would have a Daily Motion gameplay video, or you download it. And I downloaded like a 20-part silent playthrough, no commentary, someone just doing it the right way, of playing Grim Fandango all the way through. And I watched it, and I had a great time. I had a great time watching someone else play, and they even knew that there were like special like dialogue options, and they do those before they solved it. So
okay.
it wasn't just like always the right answer.
You
It was
got the
like
full experience.
It's like someone had basically written a script for how they thought the Grim Fandango movie should be, and then they just played out the game in that fashion, and it was a delight. It was fantastic. And I'm really enjoying watching Adam do this.
Me too.
Because
I don't
the
wanna do
idea of trying to when
Yes.
he grabbed the map, you grabbed the designs for something and changed the flag.
Yeah.
And you also
in Day
put
of the
it, you put it
Tentacle.
in the Porta-John or whatever that
Yep.
was, and I was like,
You have to figure out
what
what.
doing?
Because
yeah,
it's
the time period.
I got that because it's going through time, but I wouldn't have thought to
Jeez.
put anything in there without knowing that game mechanic, which Adam already knew, and him. It's like I'm having fun watching Adam play.
It's funny because I have not played this game in 20 years, something like that, but it is still coming back because all I played was this and Sam and Max.
Well, also once you know the answer is obvious.
Yeah.
Of course. Yeah, you're like, of course you use the scalpel to stab the clown.
Yeah.
This part took me forever.
What about Sonic? What do you guys know about Sonic? What do you remember about that game?
I remember drowning for the first time and almost crying.
Oh yeah, that was fucked up. That music.
Labyrinth Zone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
Do you remember anything about Sonic, James?
Yeah, I remember a ton about
Like
Sonic.
what? Tell
1,
me.
2, 3, and Knuckles.
Tell me.
What do you want to know?
Tell me what you remember about it.
You get the Chaos Emeralds.
So what?
And then you can become Super Sonic.
What does Super
the
Sonic
bonus,
do?
He basically goes Super Saiyan. He's invincible
gold,
and he's
yeah.
gold.
He can
So
and
he's just like a
flies.
star.
Yeah, but in
What?
your coins
no, he's
run
gold.
no, it's
He
Starman.
goes gold
You
and
mean
is-
like Mario when he goes different colors and he's invincible?
wanna
No,
hear-
but he's gold. Don't you understand? They were ripping off Dragon Ball Z.
Not
were,
Mario.
yeah.
Before it was cool.
They're ripping
Yeah.
off Dragon Ball Z, not Mario. They weren't ripping off Mario.
Well, there were other items that you could go invincible. You can get the invincibility item, which
that's
was like
right.
a
There was
star,
that.
which just
It
had
just made you
stars
sparkle.
surrounding you and
Yeah.
made you sparkle. This one made you invincible and super fast.
You mean like a star?
No.
Because that's what a star does.
No, but
Makes
you're
you faster and
constantly
invincible.
His hair got
As long as
spiky.
you have coins,
Here.
the best thing about it is if you got all the Chaos Emeralds and then you got 50 coins, this is in Sonic 2.
Rings, asshole.
What?
This is in Sonic.
Rings.
Rings.
Piece of shit.
Coins? I thought you loved Sonic.
Whatever. And then you jump up into the air, you hit jump again, he goes, "Ah!" and he goes gold, and then you just blast through the whole stage.
You said coins.
You want to hear one of the shittiest presents
Yes.
I ever got for my birthday?
Well,
If
that's
it's Sonic
Sonic.
related,
I had
then you're a
friend,
liar.
I had a friend who was he's not really even a friend. He was a kid. He was a
kid.
He was a kid named I'll say his name. His name is Sam.
Hey, Sam.
This is like second or third
Sam's
grade.
like, no.
Well, he's also in Jingle All the Way. We'll come back to that
Whoa!
later.
Oh, you got
This is
James
awesome.
on board.
You knew a celebrity and you didn't even tell me?
He was an extra.
You knew a celebrity and you didn't even tell me?
But I invited. He was like a nerd gamer friend of mine, and like we would talk about stuff. But he was also that one kid who was like, "Oh, you don't play Secret of Mana?" And I'm like, "Fuck this guy. Holy shit!" Like, yeah, I play Zelda, and he's like, "Zelda, beat that one." It's like, okay. So I invited him to my birthday one year. What he got me is hands down the worst present I've ever got.
Aw.
But it was very thoughtful. He wrote down the Sonic code in Sonic 2, which I didn't own.
What's the Sonic code?
The Sonic code
The
where you
debug code?
Yeah, you go in the debug code and you can become any item in the game.
Oh.
And
that's
that way
weird.
you become Super Sonic and you give yourself 99 coins and you get coins forever because you get the debug code. That was his present. He wrote it down on cue cards.
That's
like
a great
52 of
present.
them.
That's not the worst
And
present
then
ever.
you had to go into the BGM and
Yeah.
be like, track 45, track 8, track 9,
It
Track
was
42.
They're
Track
rings, you son of a
17.
bitch.
it was the worst present because this is the
Jesus.
time when Jurassic Park was popular, and he didn't get me a Jurassic Park toy.
What a fucker.
Oh, I
Yep.
see. Yeah, he should have just gotten you a Raptor.
You could have gotten you battle damaged Tyrannosaurus Rex.
Yeah, that would have been way cooler than writing down the Sonic code. What a retard.
Anyway, he was in Jingle All the Way, and he used his money to buy like
What scene was he in?
a Super Nintendo.
What scene was he in?
I've never seen
How do you
Jingle All the
know-
Way,
yeah,
so
why
I
do you
don't
know
know.
the scenes to Jingle All the Way.
Jingle All the Way is the greatest Christmas film of all time.
We need to.
I love Jingle All the Way.
we should
There's a
probably watch
sequel.
it so I can spot him out because I do remember what he looks like. Little brown kid.
Brown. Let's see, when are there brown kids? I'm
Apparently
gonna
he,
guess the
like-
parade at the end.
He got like $300 to be in this movie
Wow, that's a good deal.
in the '90s, yeah.
Yeah.
And he bought like a Super Nintendo with it, and I never saw him again.
Good
Jingle All the Way
moves.
is great.
Can you imagine being in Jingle All the Way and buying a Super Nintendo because you were in Jingle All the Way?
And knowing the Sonic code.
My childhood was better than yours.
Man.
Well, it
Jealous.
sounds like his
No,
childhood.
no, we're
was
talking about how
better.
cool
Yeah,
Sam
him.
is and not you.
Yeah, Sam has got it going on.
You were the one that had to have a Sonic code written down for you.
For a game I
He had it
didn't own.
memorized. Oh,
I,
no, you
uh,
didn't own it? Oh.
I never owned a Sonic game.
Well, neither did I. They're dumb.
When I was in
Sonic 1, 2, 3, and Knuckles are great games.
You just stack them on
Wait,
top
there's
of
a
each
game
other.
called Knuckles?
It's
Sonic
called
and
Sonic
Knuckles,
and
huh?
Knuckles.
Oh.
And
You
it
get to
was
play
the
as
one you
Knuckles?
always see
Oh.
pictures of it on Reddit because it was a cartridge that had a slot at the top so that way you could combine it with other Sonic games.
Oh, okay.
You can play as Knuckles in those games too.
You know that the full name of Knuckles is Knuckles the Echidna?
Yeah.
What's
Isn't
an
it
echidna?
Knuckles D Echidna?
I saw an
It's like a
echidna
hedgehog.
in Australia.
What's
Yeah.
an echidna?
It's like a hedgehog thing, but with a longer nose.
Yeah, it does
And I think it
nothing.
digs in the ground.
I have some footage on my GoPro. I can show
It's
you.
me.
What was Knuckles? Can
I
he
only-
become Super Knuckles?
He could eventually, but not until later games. But his was lame though, because there were Super Tails as well, but they just had like shadows behind
Super
them.
Tails.
They just looked like they were doing a super move.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. He had a custom combo from Street Fighter Alpha.
To go back to my appreciation of Nintendo and how timeless their characters are.
Way better than
At,
Sonic.
At one point, Sonic had
Listen.
soaps.
What?
Do you remember soap shoes?
Soap shoes?
They were
Yes.
shoes that you could grind on rails with.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know what he's talking about?
No, because I wasn't a skater boy.
That was a different thing though. They weren't Sonic branded. Those
No,
just,
they're called soaps. In the game, he has soap shoes.
James
when
doesn't
did,
remember.
so there was a product integration with Sonic with those shoes at some
Well,
point?
I mean, there were
Okay.
lots of games where Sonic could grind on things,
Well,
but
no,
that's
but-
just because he's fast.
But he had soap shoes.
So in real life, they had shoes that had a metal plate with like a little divot in it.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, you remember that. And the idea was that you would jump and like grind on a rail and look really cool. Except you just bust ass and then
I
go
look
home
like
crying.
Sonic the Hedgehog right now.
I never had this stuff. I just like watching kids fall
There
down.
they are.
Hold on.
They are Sonic soaps. Wow.
So show shoes.
This is
Yeah,
amazing.
they actually put the grind plates on his dumb fucking
Dun,
shoes.
dun, 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 dun. You don't remember that?
I mean, Sonic. So
The Sonic
you're-
Adventure 2.
I can only look at things in the framework of Sonic the Hedgehog. So could Sonic grind on rails? Absolutely. Did I know those were actual shoes because cool kids had them or whatever? No, I didn't.
Could have assumed.
These shoes were like $90.
Holy shit, those are awesome.
Ask
shoes
me if
are
I owned a
$90.
pair.
Did you own a pair?
Two.
Did Sam own a
What?
pair?
Yeah,
Well,
Sam definitely owned a pair.
Okay, so they
These
had
are way
soap
cooler.
shoes. I bought these because all the kids were using them.
Yeah, that's true.
And then
Make
rollerblade
your own.
shoes. Well, rollerblade shoes came out.
Oh, yeah,
and they
wheelies.
They had like metal plates on the bottom, so
Yep.
you can grind better. And then I went to high school and I was like, I should be beat
What
up
is
for
that?
this.
Hold on.
Yeah.
What is that orange creature?
Oh, that's
Whoa.
seltzer.
How do you know who Seltzer is?
That's not a real Sonic.
That's a real Google Seltzer. I bet it's a real Sonic character that
Seltzer
James
the
doesn't know
Hedgehog.
about, and he loves Sonic.
Oh, yeah, it was in
Listen,
Final Fantasy
I played
X as well.
Knuckles Chaotix. I know
I don't know
all
what that
of the C team of
God damn
Sonic
it.
characters.
God damn it.
T-Z-U-R.
Seltzer.
Selt.
Z-U-R.
Zer.
It's not coming up in autocomplete.
Yeah,
so-
it's not a. Oh. Ha
yeah, that's just a
Oh,
drink.
it's actually
drink.
drinks.
Yeah. No, someone just made that up. That was fan art.
Do, do, do,
Told
do.
ya.
Look at him running. His little
Nice try.
There
infinite
he is.
sign.
There's Seltzer.
That's Seltzer right there. Parappa versus Spike by Seltzer. Oh, no, that's
Seltzer's the artist.
Oh, that Spike is the name of the thing.
There is a character named Spike.
Is there a name of
That's
Spike?
probably him.
You don't know either. Google Sonic Spike.
There is. Spike is a character. There he is.
There he is.
What?
Wait.
No.
No, it's the actual Spikes. What?
What are you
that's
talking
some,
about?
My Little Pony bullshit.
I thought Spike was a character.
I don't think so.
There he is again.
That's
Spike the porcupine.
Spike the Porcupine.
Oh,
Come
of
on.
course. That's comic canon. That doesn't count.
My knowledge of Sonic characters comes from reading them like trophy descriptions in Smash
Look
Brothers.
at those boots, though.
Because
That's
boy, do
those
they have
are
a lot of
sweet
Sonic
boots.
characters.
This is why people jerk off to this stuff
Yeah,
because
look at his
they're
dick.
naked, but they have clothes on. So it's like, oh, I shouldn't be
This is
seeing.
why people
We shouldn't be
jerk off.
seeing this.
They're naked
That's
because
exactly why, Adam. You got it. It's so taboo.
Oh man, we have to end the podcast.
Yeah.
No, I want to talk more about how people like to jerk it at the Sonic.
Did we solve the
Boy.
human condition?
And
so.
we talked about Sonic.
One and the same.
What are you gonna call this podcast?
Games are
There's
too
just
hard.
so many
I love
options.
Spike.
Yeah.
There we go.
Wonder
I
why the
love
views are
Spike.
down.
Spike the
Seltzer.
Hedgehog. Hedgehog of the year. Spike the Hedgehog.
Seltzer or Spike? You decide. Chili dogs? Canceled.
Just keep making words.
Thank you, sponsors, for keeping the stream alive.
Chili dog.
But it sounds like the Division is lacking that compared to Destiny, to my own personal preference.
Sure. Your soldier man will not look significantly more badass at level 30 than he or she did at level 1.
But my hat.
You will get a different hat.
I get this was what I kind of I've only been playing the game briefly, and so like, but I've said this before. I think you can play a game for about 15 minutes to an hour, and you get the basic gist because you're going to be doing those things for the next few